Honorable members, this panel on education, sports, social protection, the Secretariat, the public, welcome to this very important activity, and feel relaxed and feel free. Our nominee to welcome. We would like to ask you to identify yourself, confirm to the panel if you are the person intended for this particular activity.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am the person.
Thank you. I now want to make a prayer. Ewe Mwenyezi Mungu ambaye kwa hekima na wema wako umeteua nyadhifa za viongozi na mabunge kwa utawala wa haki wa wanadamu. Ututasame kwa wema, kwa neema nyingi, sisi watumishi wako ambao umeridhika kutuita ili tutekeleze shughuli muhimu za jamhuri hii yetu. Twakuomba uteremshie baraka zako sisi tuliokutanika hapa, na utujalie tuyatende na kufikiria mambo yote yatakayofikishwa mbele yetu kwa njia ya haki na uaminifu, ili utukufu na sifa zako siendelezwe, na ili tustawishe amani, ufanisi na heri ya kaunti hii yetu, na wale ambao haja zao umezikabidhi mikononi mwetu. Members, we now want the nominee to take oath guided by the legal counsel.
I, Ethelred Correa Moses, do swear by the Almighty God, that everything I shall say in this approved hearing shall be the truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Members, want to take you through this brief communication. Chair. Good morning, honorable members. I wish to welcome all members of the Committee on Education, Sports and Social Protection, members of the public, and the nominee to the position of the County Chief Officer, Early Childhood and Social Protection. Honorable members, the position of Chief Officer is part of the executive appointments contemplated in section 45 of County Government Act number 17 of 2017, and the county assemblies is therefore mandated to vet their appointment to their respective portfolios. Honorable members, as you are all aware, the department has 2 nominees in the portfolio of early childhood and social protection and vocational training and sports. The vetting process is approximated to take at most 1 hour and 30 minutes or less for each nominee. According to the Public Appointments County Assemblies Approval Act 2017, Section 5(1), the nominee was notified to appear before the relevant sectoral committee of the County Assembly. In this regard, Public Appointment County Assemblies Approval Act 2017, Section 6(2), the Clerk of the County Assembly gave out the notification of the nomination on Friday, 7th April 2023 on the Daily Nation newspaper. Section 7(4), the clerk notified the candidate of the time and place for holding the approval hearing. Honorable members, according to Section 16 of Ethics and Integrity Act, read together with the County Assembly of Turkana, Standing Order 101, any member who is likely to be conflicted has to declare the nature of interest, whether fiduciary, personal, proprietary, close family members, or pecuniary. A member who wishes to speak on any matter in which the member has personal interest shall first declare the interest, and the member will neither score nor ask the nominee a question, and will remain silent or opt out of the vetting venue. These proceedings are open to the members of the public, and they are live on HME Radio FM, County Assembly official Facebook page and YouTube channel. Similarly, I would like to draw the attention of the members of the public that during the vetting process, they are required at all times to maintain silence, phones off, and there shall be minimal movements that are likely to distract the committee or nominee. The Sergeant at Arms is under strict instructions to eject any person who flouts these orders. I want to make a plea to the nominee to take the shortest amount of time to complete the tasks ahead, the tasks at hand. Be precise and to the point when responding to questions from honorable members. Thank you, Honorable Michael Ekale, the Chairperson Committee of Education, Sports and Social Protection, County Assembly of Turkana. Now, I now want to ask members of the panel if there is any member who has completing interest, who has personal interest with the nominee, kindly, as to read, you either hoped to move out of the venue or keep mum as the process continues. Any member this panel? Right. It's none. Now, members of public kindly, we are also asked to maintain silence as this process continues. Members want to make a very brief introduction. We'll start with the honorable members, and kindly just your name and the destination. Now, we want to start from my immediate right here.
Thank you, the Honorable Chair. I am Napier Patrick, MCA Kairis, a member of this committee. I want to take this opportunity through you, Honorable Chair, to welcome our nominee, Ethel Korea Moses. Sometimes I use some words and I'm a victim. When I say my brother, that is of our climate settling, Honorable Chair. So welcome, my brother.
Thank you.
Honorable Chair, honorable members, members of the Secretariat, members of the public, our nominee today. My name is Anaklet Lemuya. I'm the MCA for Lobe Kota Ward. Thank you.
Honorable Chair, honorable members, the Secretariat, and the public. I'm Honorable Francis Ngimusia, MCA Tia Ward, member of Education Committee. Welcome.
Thank you.
Honorable Chair, honorable members, members of the Secretariat, the nominee, and the public. Lopayo Romuria Lawrence, MCA, Ukilama Loregipi Ward, member of Education, Sports and Social Protection. Thank you.
Honorable Chair, members, the nominee, and members from the public, I'm Honorable Lydia Jore, Special Elect from Kabedo and Piton Ward. Welcome.
Honorable Chair, honorable members, the Secretariat, and the public. Martha Nami, Special Elect, Lobe Kota Ward. You are welcome.
All protocol observed. Honorable Lydia Sabo, nominated MCA from Kenyo Delta. I'm the Vice Chair of this committee.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. My name is Michael Ebene, the MCA for Falcon Ward. Feel welcome there, Mr. Correa.
Thank you. honorable members, I now want to introduce the secretariat, this committee, and I want to invite secretary to introduce the members.
Good morning all. I'm Helen Ewoy from TICLA. I take this opportunity to introduce other secretariat. We have Michael Ochun, answered officer, he's over there. There's Beatrice Aule, sergeant at arms. Titus Narubu, ICG. Gilchrist Yakal, finance. Thank you.
Well done. All right, thank you so much. And now I am Akale Imuni Michael, MCA Kaptir, the chair of this committee. Thank you all. And now want to welcome the nominee and kindly to ask him to feel free, feel at home, so that you're able to take this task with confidence, with the breathness. We are at home. Many of us, you are aware, we interacted and things. And so we wish that you will find time and shall also find good time with you. So members, it's time that we ask the questions, and that it comes in the order. And I want to ask Honorable Patrick Napion. Oh, sorry. All right. As an introductory part of it, the nominee, kindly tell us about yourself. Tell this panel about yourself.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through the chair, honorable members, the secretariat. My name is Etelej Korea Moses, a Kenyan, born on 25th April 1981 in Turkana, Loima, sub-county, Takwel ward, Lomeyan location, Nachuro sub-location, Nominee village. So, Mr. Chairman, you can realize that I'm approaching 42 years old by next week. Chair, I started my education in Turkana Primary School back in 1987. In nursery school, up to standard 2. Then migrated to Kerio Primary School, where I went up to 1992 in class 4. Then migrated to Nakwamekwe Primary School in 1992. Did my KCPE in 1996, Mr. Chair. And then I was requested to be admitted in Ludo High Secondary School, but due to the economic financial status of the family, they could not be able to take me to Ludo High School. The Catholic Church sponsored my education and took me to Kapmo Boys Secondary School, currently at St. Leo. In 1997, joined Form 1, ended up in 2000, did my KCSE in 2000. Then in 2002, joined Moi University, undertaking a Bachelor of Education, degree degree in science, specializing in biology and chemistry. Graduated on 19th of December 2006 with a degree, second class upper division. Then got permanent employment in 2008. Started in Garissa, a school called Boys Town Secondary School. That was my first posting by the government. In Boys Town Secondary School, I stayed up to 2012. At the onset of the insecurity due to the Al-Shabaab issue, 2010, by the time it reached 2012, it became unbearable. So I was transferred in 2013, and I was transferred to Capital Secondary School in 2013. Stayed in Capital Secondary School for 1 year. In April 2014, I was promoted to be a principal and taken to Loima Girls Secondary School. That was by the time the Loima Girls was starting. I stayed in Loima Girls Secondary School from 2014 up to September. So I was there for about 1.5 terms. And then I got a scholarship, went for my MSc, that is Master of Science, in Environmental and Petroleum Geochemistry in the United Kingdom at Newcastle University. Graduated in 2015 with a master's degree. Came back to Kenya, 2016, went to Lodwar Girls Secondary School as a teacher, but in the process did part-time lecturing at Mount Kenya University by the time it was around, and Masinde Muliro University by the time the campus was in Kakuma. And as a support consultant with the World University Services of Canada, training teachers, both those doing refugee schools and host community, on the methodology and the pedagogies on early the children that are affected by wars and all those mechanisms. 2016, 1st of September, I was taken to Napelim Secondary School, where I was taken as a principal, job group D3. And that is where I am, Mr. Chairman, up to now. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, Mr. Moses, what is your financial net worth? Income sources, both current and deferred.
Thank you, Chairman. My financial net worth is 50 million. This is accrued through income of salary, dividends from shares that are invested in different companies, rental income. I have plots and developed plots, several of them in Akwamekwe, about 9 plots in Akwamekwe, 2 of them fully developed, each about 5 million. I have got business premise in town. I own the land. I have other businesses running on in this town, so I accrue profits. I've got animals as a pastoralist and as a child of a pastoralist. I identify myself with the community, so I have animals, camels in Nominee, about 100. I've got more than 500 heads of goats in Nominee, because in the Turkana community you have to be identified with the number of animals you have. I do little bit of farming along the riverine of Turkana River. I have an inherited piece of land about 3 acres where I have so many mangoes. At the moment, we are harvesting, so hoping that by the end of the session, customers will also buy them from this chamber. I do for poultry farming and turkey farming. So if you look at that, all of it cumulatively, Mr. Chairman, it comes to over 50 million. I thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you for that sound, and I hope you have created employment, the community living around. Fine, thank you. How do your skills and competencies fit into the position you have been nominated for? Tell us about the department you have nominated to lead, and why you are the best candidate for this department.
Thank you. Sorry. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On the skills, I'm a trained teacher, and I have different pedagogy of handling children of any level. The content might vary, but on the methodologies, which is the core bit of being a teacher, I've been trained. Competencies, as you can see from the CV, I'm already a senior manager by training through the Kenya School of Government. So there are lots of competencies to the experience on the work handling, to the experience of the exposure that I've gone through, and therefore in this department, Mr. Chair, as you have asked in the third bit of the question, you have asked, what about this department? Tell us about this department. Now, the department is early childhood development and education with social protection. Now, this is a department that deals with issues of early childhood development, which is actually a devolved function. And being a devolved function, it is the business of the county to undertake it with the social protection. Now, this Department of Early Childhood have got several thematic areas that I think, as per your question, you're telling me to mention, I need to highlight them, Mr. Chairman. One, there are bits of issues of feeding of these children from their institutions. There is a bit of quality assurance on what is going on in terms of content, curriculum, co-curricular activities being undertaken within the department. There are issues of infrastructure development in the department. There are issues of support of DSS, that is within the college where we are training our teachers. So all these, Mr. Chairman, it narrows down to a manager who has been trained as a teacher, who has been handling the managerial, the aspects of the running of the institution. To me, Mr. Chairman, I think this is an area that is well. Two, within the social protection bit, it's about dealing with the children. One, vulnerable children, street children, minorities, people living with disabilities. All this is bits of what I can say within the training, within the exposure, within the experience, within my over 23 years, 15 years of experience, it fits me to do the job within this panel. So, Mr. Chair, I think by and large, I am fit to lead this department. Thank you.
Right. Well done. Thank you so much. Honorable members of the panel, Secretariat of the Public, I now want to open this activity and ask want to welcome Honorable Patrick Napion to take us through question 1. Welcome.
Thank you very much, the Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, you will allow us to stand so that we are able to see our nominee. And at the same time, some of us, we have a problem of our voices, so that as we stand, we can project. Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Chair, and you're the Speaker for that matter. I want to ask the nominee, I want to thank him because he's brief. We want the nominees to be brief and to the point. He's there, correctly placed. Our nominee, our beloved brother, in the recent past years, Turkana County government built rescue centers in major towns, especially Lodwar, Kakuma, and others. A close look at them indicated that they are not operational. I don't know whether we are together. Our nominee. So a close look shows that, or indicates that they are not operational. Now, the question is, what might be the problem? What might be the problem? Part of the same question is, if all goes well, and that's my prayer, that you are going to be appointed, you've been appointed already by the appointing authority, that this house gives you your care to become the chief officer, as indicated in your appointment or nominated letter or list. What will you do to address this problem where these rescue centers are not operational? So I think you've got, I think that's my question. Thank you, Honorable Chair. I have made it in a way that he has time to respond. Thank you. Welcome.
Through the Chair, thank you. Now, on the question of the rescue centers under the Social Protection Directorate, the data that I have, Lodwar Rescue Center seems to be operational. Kakuma not yet, Lokichel also. The first bit of the question is, what is the problem? With the secondary literature that I have, which is data provided, is that is the issue of financing that might have delayed some of the things that were supposed to be done for most of these rescue centers to be operational. A rescue center, from my understanding, a model of a rescue center should have components of working, for example, dormitories, if there is a child to be placed for some time, because a rescue center is not supposed to house somebody for long. The ideology is that it's supposed to rehabilitate somebody for some time, hold that person as we undertake other aspects of rehabilitating the person and returning the person back, or the child back to the parents and to the community. But most of them do not have ablution blocks. Dormitories are not there. So some few bits of structures have been constructed. Sewerage system also, in some, is not functioning. For example, the Lodwar Rescue Center, I'm told that I saw that the sewerage system is not working. Also, the security of it, we just have a chain link kind of a security bit.
The Honorable Chair is, the nominee has answered that one. You should move to the next.
Thank you. Now, on what will I do? Within the alignment of the budget estimates that are there, it's already proposed that there will be construction of the ablution blocks in all the three. It has already been, and I hope and pray that this committee will approve that. Two, there is proposal on fencing all of them using the perimeter walls instead of the chain link, because most of these kids, when they are taken there, they cut the chain link and come back to the streets. So there is that proposal. Three, on the issue of the sewerage system, there is also a proposal to that effect. And to me, I pray that after my nomination, we'll escalate and hope we are going to work with the committee to ensure that the approval of that budget is done, so that our rescue centers will be effective, will be working, and will be undertaking.
Honorable Chair, I am I'm okay with the responses. Probably next question.
Thank you, Moses. Thank you. I want to invite Honorable Anaclet for the second question. Welcome.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Mr. Moses, I would want to ask a question on social protection, still on social protection related to the first question. This relates to the issue of street children. You know, protection of children from abuse, neglect, and exploitation is key to any government, including our own county government. You may have realized that the number of street children in this town, in Lodwar, has grown to unprecedented levels. And I would wonder what may have caused this increase in the number of street children in this town. And secondly, I also want to understand what you will do if appointed. What are you going to do in order to address this situation? Thank you.
I thank you, Honorable Member, through the chair. It is true the number of street children in most of our urban centers, specifically Lodwar, Kakuma, is exponentially increasing, and it is going to levels that are not good. First question is, what are some of the causes that I feel attribute to this? One of them is the fact that 99% of the Turkanas are poor. Poverty levels in our homes are so much, and therefore there is anger. Most of the kids run away from home because there is nothing to eat. So they are just in the streets. Two, marriage breakdowns. Most of the marriage fabric is breaking down. And therefore this also because a single parent married to another person, the kid that was brought might end up running away from the family and neglect. Another point that might be a cause, from my perspective, is the issue of drug abuse and substance, specifically alcoholism, in most of our community members. And therefore, due to this, there's a lot of neglect and all that. So kids will just run away from home. Another thing that is causing this, from my perspective, is a bit of insecurity. Most of the parents are wiped out, where kids remain, nobody take care of them. Then the only place they can be able to have an habitation is in urban centers. Allow me, honorable member, what will I do? This is a situation that is going to affect all of us in the county in the aspect that it covers several departments. I'm not going to say that I'm going to give a miracle that we are going to clean the children in the streets tomorrow, because it will not have solved the social setup of the families in terms of poverty if we cannot be able to enhance employment in most of the families. If we are not going to advocate the aspect of this alcoholism to be reduced in most of the families, then the problem will persist. Even if we take them to the rescue centers, tomorrow they will just come back to the streets. So I will have to collaborate with all the sectors and all departments. Department of Alcoholism will have to come in order to help in parts of public participation in talking about alcoholism dangers and all that, so that we can be able to embrace the fact that our children must be taken care of. Two, we will have to go back to institutions again, because institutions also, especially schools, some kids run out of school because of fees and all that. They have no fees. So when they ask to go and look for fees, no money at home, so they will have to run to the street to be able to get habitation. So it's a whole big security as well needs to be talked to. How do we help kids that are affected by displacement, are affected by wars, internal and external? What do we do? We need to look at that aspect. So it is a whole bit of cooperation, partnership, to calm down and think on a philosophy on how we can be able to solve our social problem that is affecting us, so that we can move forward. Because if I say I'm an island, I'm going to solve it on my own, perhaps I will be putting lies into things that might not happen. But my prayer is that as a department, we are going to escalate, because as it is, Mr. Chairman, we don't even have the exact data of how many kids are in the street of London. We don't have the data. So for me, the first thing is, how many are there in the street in London? How many are there in the street in Dublin? How many are there in the street in... Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you so much. I want to welcome Honorable Francis. The question and get going.
Yeah. My question is just simple, but it is in 3 sections. The first one, are you aware that Turkana County government, several ECDs in our county, and some of them are not operational? Are you aware of that? And if you are aware, what do you think is the cause, the main problem of some of these ECDs not operating well? The third one is, how do you, what strategies will you come with to ensure that all these ECDs that has been constructed in our county are operationalized, and no child, Turkana child, is left behind in early education? Thank you.
Thank you, Francis.
Thank you, Francis Newson. It's true, I'm aware of the infrastructure development in terms of the ECD in the county. About 989 to be specific. That is as per the data I have. All of them, to me, the data I have is that most of them are operational. It is true some of them are not operational. Why? Because I think at the onset of devolution, we did not define exactly what is the philosophy of the devolution of ECD in our county. We went around, copied what we did not understand. So for me, first and foremost, I could have first integrated the aspect of 2 prongs that I can be able to call kind of a structural approach. One, there was little bit of communal involvement in the development of the concept of the ECD. You find an ECD is there, it is not owned by the community, but as per the philosophy, they understand that it is theirs. They just know it is something that was brought by the MCA through the government, built there, it's none of their business. So we went around there. The issue of the center-based kind of approach is also wrong, because a philosophy of education is supposed, first of all, to understand the social setup of the community. We went around, built some houses. In fact, all of them were wrongly done from the onset. Because an ECD is supposed to have got 2 classrooms. What we did is a single classroom. So where will the rest go after completing PP1, for example? So already that was a challenge. But you see, we are not saying that we lost everything. There are things that we can be able to borrow and be able to do something. And that leads me to your question. How will we operationalize them? First and foremost, for me, I think I need to get what you call the primary data. Because as it is, I don't know which one is not operational and which one is operational. So I have to make sure that I visit each one of them, because some of them might have been an operation because of insecurity. A village has migrated and an ECD remained there. They cannot move with the ECD. So we need to understand what can we do to make it operational. Either including the rest of the stakeholders in the department, in the county government, to ensure people are resettled back so that the ECD becomes operational. Because if people have moved away from the community, you cannot return kids there. Other instances is that most of the ECDs also are broken down. So it is even risky for kids to stay there. So it becomes an operation. So kids decide to go somewhere else or stay under the tree. But Mr. Nimusia, I will wish to bring this, Mr. Chair, that ECD is not about buildings. As per the education is true in this panel. ECD is about the content, is about the teacher and the content. I can stay in under a tree and I will still get my ECD very well. So once we create that culture that we can be able to do ECD anywhere, then I think even the 989 is still few. We can still do more and we get our content of education and help this level of education develop. I thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's get to the 4th question. I invite Honorable Lawrence.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. My question, if approved by this House, what are some of the legislative or legal frameworks that you think will aid in operations of the department, more so the ECD?
Welcome, Mr. Moses.
I thank you, Mr. Lopayo, Honorable Lopayo. If approved, and I really pray that I have approved, what are the legislative areas that we need to fast track for the ECDs to be jump-started in this country? Now, any working institution should work within the frameworks of the law. Without a law, you are just blind, because the law guides, the law directs, and the law helps in the coordination of activities of the department. So for me, the information I have is that there is supposed to have been a bill, a policy, the ECD policy for Turkana County, yet it has not been taken to the cabinet for approval. The bill that I know that is there is the bill of the social protection that has already been approved by the cabinet, but it has not been approved by the county assembly, because it was taken to the cabinet in the former regime. It has been approved. It was supposed to be taken to the cabinet secretary, and then submitted to the county assembly for approval. My wish is that as you approve me, I will fast track those through the office of the Attorney General, so that we can be able to ensure that this bill is brought to the House, approved for the operationalization of the department within the ECD as well, using through the office of the Attorney General. We are going to cooperate to ensure that this legislative bit is approved, because we cannot just be working in a vacuum. We need the law. Now, thank you.
Thank you, Moses. The 5th question invites Honorable Lydia.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Our nominee, my question is very simple. As you've said, you're a pastoralist, a nomad, I know you are capable in answering this question. Aware that education is a basic need provided for by the Constitution of Kenya. Most ECD centers are concentrated in urban areas, leaving the children living in the class vulnerable. If given this chance, what will you do to ensure that children who are in that nomadic perspective access to basic education? Thank you.
Welcome.
Through the chair, thank you, Honorable Lydia Joren. Chapter 4 of the Constitution directs that every child has got a right to education. Every single kid in this country. And by that, we are bound by that as a default government. It is true, most of the ECDs are concentrated in urban areas due to the densities of population, growth, and all that. But being a pastoralist community, the pastoralist child also needs this education. What will I do? History sometimes teaches us and it guides us on what we need to do. Back in the 80s, the Norwegian government had developed what we call the mobile schools, where a child of a pastoralist, today they might be migrating because of the pasture around within the Turkana. Tomorrow they will be migrating away from Turkana. But we get teachers who can be able to be moving with these kids. And with a model in such a way that these kids can be taught perhaps mostly in the evening, because most of them take care of their animals, so that we don't also give conflict with the pastoralist parents. They take care of the animals in the morning, and then in the afternoon, the teacher is there moving with them. And we can be able to fast track that if this committee will agree. And this will also be anchored within the law that we are going to develop within the ECD, so that our people in the class are helped to get mobile teachers. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Moses. I invite Madam Mother, the sixth question. Welcome, Honorable Mother.
Thank you, Chair. Our nominee, as I can see from your curriculum feature, you were once a beneficiary for Chalo Group Scholarship Scheme, Chalo Oil Company. Okay, my question is, having benefited from the scheme, what lesson can a county government borrow from the scheme to improve education sector, bearing in mind the need for specialization training in various fields? Thank you.
Thank you, Madam. Honorable Karibu Moses.
Through the chair, Honorable Mother, it's true I'm a beneficiary of Talo scholarship in the year 2012 as a social corporate responsibility of the company, and among the 30 Turkanas that went to the United Kingdom to learn various courses that are aligned to the petroleum industry. What will Turkana learn? There are a lot of things that we need to learn, but I will actually highlight about 2 or 3 of them, time allowing. One, the Talo scholarship was one of the most efficient scholarships that I witnessed in my life. Efficiency in the sense that if it is time for you to join the college, it is within that framework. And it is anchored on the aspect of meritocracy. That you don't just get something on a silver platter. You must perform to get it. So for me, the Turkana need to anchor their scholarships within the aspects of meritocracy. It should be earned. Should not be just be given like that. 2, the aspect of performance was critical. For you to get the Talo scholarship, 7,000 people applied for that scholarship. Only 50 were allowed to go through. Why? Because they looked at the key area of performance, the whole round entity of puzzle, the extra X factor. 3, there was the aspect of discipline. You must finish your course within a specified time framework. and you must be able to do all that pertains to that goes within that. So this money should be able to be accounted because this is public money. So for me, the Turkana money must be anchored within those alignments. I thank you.
Thank you, Moses. The second question, I invite Honorable Michael Edenyo. Welcome, Honorable.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Feel welcome to Mr. Moses. Thank you. The question is, a number of the stakeholders are implementing social protection programs in Turkana County. In a number of occasions, same stakeholders have been targeting the same households. What will you do to streamline these activities for social protection actors in Turkana County? Second, what policy proposal will you recommend to the county government to offer a safety net to the most vulnerable groups? Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Welcome, Moses.
Thank you, Chair. Honorable Michael, the question is on the social protection, where most of the stakeholders, partners and all that, tend to serve almost the same households. What will I do? We are in the 21st century, and I'm a consumer of technology. Technology has always reduced our workload to the minimum possible, but effective, efficient, and can be able to be accounted within the click of the button. For me, I think we need to get exact data of these people that are vulnerable within our community. As we speak, we don't even have the data of the people living with disabilities in Turkana. What we depend on is the national data, which to me is supposed to be a perished thought at the age that we are. We need to have our data, exact data. How many people are living with disabilities in Turkana? How many are the minority? The Limanyans, the Keboto. How many are there? We don't have the exact figure. So to me, if we can be able to have what we call the Turkana kind of a portal, where at the click of the button, I know I've got maybe 100 households of the Limanyan, maybe 50 in Kapua, 4 in Nasiget, or 1 in Lodot, all of that. It can be able to help me guide the stakeholders where they need to be to take their services into. 2, what are the legislative laws that we need to put in place so that we can be able to salvage and protect these vulnerable entities in terms of social covers? As I mentioned, there was a legislative that was already approved on the people living with disability. It was approved by this county assembly, but again, due to the constraints of the law, the control of budgets, when the law was taken to control of budget, because it had got a lot of issues with money, denied. Why? Because it needed to be adjusted so that it can align itself on the issues of finances. Now, that law needs to be amended. And for me, I think that will be the starting point within the 100 days. That we need to bring that law here. We amend it to suit to the needs of our people so that we can be able to socially protect our people. I thank you.
Thank you. Members, we go to section 3 on integrity questions. And I want to welcome Honorable Lynette to usher in the first question of the nominee.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. My question is, Education Department is one of the biggest procuring entity in the county in terms of purchasing food for ECDs. And my question is, how can you handle conflicts of interest? If it happens in term.
Through the chair, Honorable Linet Abo. It is true, ECD is one of the biggest procuring entities in terms of food for feeding, which is one of the first thematic area within the ECD. You ask what happens if there is conflict of interest. I think within the Public Procurement Asset and Disposal Act, it is guiding, it is directive. A person who abides by law, the law will take its own course. If there is interest, it has to be identified, then dissociate myself from it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Welcome, welcome. The second question, third section, goes to Honorable Anaclet.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Moses, I would want to ask you a question on corruption. Corruption, as all of us understand, is a monster that is present in every institution. Of course, we can say it's a global phenomenon. And I want to know whether, in your opinion, corruption manifests itself even in our county, and more so, even in the department that if you will be appointed, you are going to work in. And if so, what are you going to do as the chief officer to address issues of corruption in that particular department? Because it is within our knowledge as members of this house that there are issues in that department relating to corruption, especially speaking to issues to do with bursaries. We have cartels that are directing money intended for to their own pockets. How are you going to address such issues in that department? Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Anaclet. Welcome, Moses.
Thank you, Honorable Anaclet. And there's also, it is true, it is a monster. And it is more of an attitudinal, entrenched monster within the Kenyan society. Does it manifest in our county? I don't have evidential explanation to say that it is there to corroborate that. But public knowledge tells us it is. What will I do to address it? Honorable Member, the appointing authority who nominated me has put it clear that there will be zero tolerance for corruption in this county. As a young man of 42 years old, I've got all my future ahead of me. So I cannot allow my future to be destroyed by corruption, because that's the life of my children. So for me, there will be strict alignment and strict adherence of everybody in the department within the financial guidelines of the department in terms of what we plan within our annual budget. Is it aligning itself to solve the social problems of the department, the budget, the procurement entities? Because at the end of the day, as an accounting officer of the department, the buck stops with. So for me, there will be strict adherence to the guidelines of law to prevent this corruption. I know it is going to be a war. You have already mentioned that there is information already that the department has got problems. Yes, every department will always have problems. But the most important is that I will have to go to the department, by sit with them, look at where the problem is, and they will have to follow what I will have to say to tell them, because it has to be done and it has not to continue. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Moses. Last question is on agenda and operational questions. I invite Honorable Opayo take you through this question.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. It's a general question on the recent developments. I think you are aware of there is another monster called the SRC. And there is a proposal to reduce salaries for ECD teachers, because SRC believes counties pay a lot of money for ECD teachers. So my question, what is your take on that proposal? And the second question, are you going to, if of course approved, are you going to implement this proposal? Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Opayo, and welcome, Moses.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. To Honorable Opayo, it is true I have heard of the recent development. SRC, allow me, Mr. Chairman, not to use the word monster. SRC is a constitutional commission pegged within our constitution. And the other question, the question that comes out is on the issue of the reduction of the money for salaries for ECD teachers. My take is, within the Kenyan labor laws, the minimum wage is about 17,000. But again, Mr. Chair, what am I going to do to implement? Am I going to implement this? I'm not going to contradict the law and conflict it, Mr. Honorable Member. I can only give an opinion, but I don't decide. So if the SRC decides tomorrow, it will be so, and it directs so. The law has to be followed. For me, is my advisory and the comments that the guidelines of the labor laws, the International Labour Law Organization advisory on salaries and remuneration must be followed. But I will not have to decide. It is about my mandate. Thank you.
Thank you, Moses. Honorable members of this panel, we've come to the end of the formal questions we have here. However, we want to give a few minutes for any queries, any questions you might be having to the nominee. I'll give about 2 or so, but brief. What you feel may not have been captured here. Yes, Honorable Anaklet.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Moses, I think first and foremost I want to thank you for the way you've been able to articulate yourself and delve into all the issues that we're able to raise. I just want to ask a question that I feel it's important that we ask, because number one, you are a teacher, and then number two, this is something that is in the public domain and all of us are interested parties. I want to ask a question on the competency-based curriculum. This is a debate that has been there. When the proposal to move from 844 to the competency-based curriculum came, it was received with mixed feelings. Others said yes, let's go ahead. Others said no, let's stop and continue with 844. I just want to know, what are your thoughts about CBC? Do you want us to continue with CBC, or do you want us to continue with the old 844 system? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Welcome, Moses.
Thank you, Chairman. Being a teacher practicing on, for that matter, competency-based curriculum, and the change from the 844, that there are mixed feelings. History also teaches us there has never been a change that never had mixed feelings. It is expected. It's a discussion. It's a healthy one. What are my thoughts? I think in the world that we are in, we are not supposed to be aligned to an educational model that is exam-oriented. We need a pool of individuals that can be able to manipulate things with their hands, that can be able to do things on their own, that can be able to be guided with the environment to create problems, solve problems within the environment. And for me, CBC kind of brings us to this. There are bottlenecks with the 844 years. Some also with the CBC. But to me, I think the strength is within the CBC. So it is the way to go. And for me, I think I will support the CBC introduction into our curriculum. I thank you.
Thank you, most.
Thank you. Yes, Honorable.
Additional question?
The issues that we've resolved as the Honorable House since the inception of devolution. And to be specific, is on the issues of production of BQs and procurement-related issues. The Honorable Chair. I want to, allow me to say this, I want to thank the Appraisal Authority. This time around, we are gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen that have been appointed by the government. This issue of procurement and the production of BQs has been a problem, has been a total problem in this county. I'm asking this question with intention, Mr. Honorable Chair. I know there is a responsible department that handles the issue of production of BQs. But in a way, I know the so-called county officer. Delay of projects and finishing of this project has become a problem. And to handle it, as honorable members who want to see these projects completed, we get a big headache when we try to follow it up through the so-called department, who is supposed to work in hand with the department that is supposed to produce these PQs. I want to ask my best friend and a good friend of mine, Honorable Chair, allow me to say that, because we exist in this society and we coexist. We be the friends outside. It's always good to mention this. It's not, I want to say, some people may say conflict of interest. It is not. If Gates, I know, is going to take this office, how best will he handle this issue of the procurement? That is another mess, and I know. You find we lose projects just because of procurement in a particular, or let's say all of these departments. And big production. How will you handle this issue so that we don't get back to where we've been and we've been complaining? The last one, Honorable Chair, allow me to say this. Working experience or working relationship between the Assembly and specifically the CCMs and the chief officers. Today, we have met a serious man, Moses Korea. He has responded to all concerns we have raised here, Honorable Chair. But given the opportunity, and the opportunity is there already, in 2 weeks' time, try to call my good friend Moses Korea, picking up your call as the chairperson for this committee, and a serious committee, handled by experts who have been educated and some have even retired, is a problem. I want to ask my best friend, how will you handle this relationship so that you become extraordinary, a different person from the existing persons we have interacted with? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Napio. Welcome, Mr. Moses.
I thank Honorable Member Napio, and I think the question is more explanatory on the issue of the production of BQs by the department. What will I do? There is always delay of projects due to delays within the procurement department. Mr. Chair, the Procurement Act gives the deadlines and timelines for any entity. And these deadlines, I come from the national government, where things are done within certain timelines, where things are done with the efficiency it deserves, and where things are done because they must be done. So then, the illusion that I'm going to be somebody else, let me assure you, Honorable Member, who is a very good friend of mine, that I am me, Eteleji Korea Moses. And if you look at the number of years I've worked, you realize that I've climbed the ladder of growth because of how I do my work. First, I'm a team player. And therefore, this committee must have to work with me. And I'm using the word must, because I cannot work as an island, as an entity of a chief officer, without working with the Committee of Education in the implementation of the projects. And this will run down to the procurement entity. Two, I am a result-based kind of a manager. 2016, I went to Nabellim Secondary School, I found 2 classrooms. As we speak, I have got 14 classrooms. That is result. And because I worked with the Board of Management to create a situation whereby there are no delays, but we follow the law to the letter, so that we produce result. I'm coming here as a person who has already taken risk to come and work with the county government in order to help the governor achieve agenda number 5. Revitalization of education and social protection. Revitalization of education, if you look at the word revitalization alone, is actually like invigorating a new energy. And I think within the knowledge and the wisdom of the appointing authority, he saw the energy in me because he knows each and every Turkana that lives in this country. And I can assure you, Honorable Member, that energy is there. Please don't put it off. And I will not allow you to put it off. Thank you, Chairman.
Asante sana. Now, one more. The last one, please.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I also want to thank Moses for being precise and more so on he understands the department because I also happen to be an employee part of county government, specifically for social protection. And the way he has answered the questions, he understands the mandate of the 2 directorates. My question is, there is also a proposal by one of the partners called Mesme Mary Smith has been assisting the ECD centers a lot. And we want to applaud Mary Smith for that support. But however, recently, Mary Smith wants to change the normal diet of maize and beans to fortified soya or corn soya. And that is like porridge. It is not a meal. So, and I'm concerned there will be implications, there will be effects to our remote ECDs, because it is one of the things that retains these small children to the centers. So if we go that route, changing the diet to the soya, I'm worried the enrollment might go down, and even the diet implications will be there. So my question is, what will you recommend to the county government? Because what the county government has been procuring is not enough for all the over 900 ECD centers. So what will you recommend as a remedy to this new development from one of our key stakeholders? Thank you.
That's good. Welcome, Moses.
I thank you, through the Honor Opayo. There are 989 ECD centers in this county. Over 600 of them are taken care of in terms of feeding program by the Mary's Meal. About 100 of them helped by the diocese in terms of feeding. So if you look at that cumulatively, then the county government is like feeding about 213 of them. The question which might be rhetorical as I proceed to answer is, whose children are they? Mary's Meals or Turkana County children? And the knowledge and the wisdom of the committee will arrive at that. Why? Because at the inception and the conception of this evolution, the budget of ECD was more than 300 million. The wisdom that came in later on reduced the budget to about 100 million. I don't know. I don't understand the terms and the engagement of the contract between the county government and Mary's Meal. So for me, it is the responsibility of the county government to feed its own children. If that is within the programs and the thematic areas within the department. Mary's Meals is withdrawing on the concept of the prices and all that. That's what I saw in the social media. To some extent, maybe the contract could not be able to address that at the time of signing the contract with the county government. So for me, my advice is the role of feeding children should be within the county government. Any other non-governmental organization that comes in should be incorporated into the county government, not working as an individual, as an entity away from the county government. Because that's why we miss. If it works within us, like what the national government is doing with the schools, it is the national government that feeds the schools. It's not the business of World Food Program. When World Food comes, they just bring the food and help to the government. It is the government business. So that when we ask questions, why are children not being fed? We ask the parents, why are children in Gates not getting meals? Because it is a mandate of the county government. It's not the mandate of Mary's Meal. Mary's Meal is coming in as a helper to support. So when we anchor our engagement and working relationship, it should be anchored with this, so that we dictate what needs to be done. It should not be like we are begging Mary's Meal as it is now, because when you look at the budget, if Mary's Meal withdraws completely, then we come to a standstill. Then we'll have to go back to the drawing board with this committee and ask ourselves, what do we do? It is our business, it's our responsibility, and we must face it. And thank you, Chairman.
Honorable members, Secretariat, members of the public, our candidate, Mr. Moses Korea, the tillage, we have come to the end of this activity. We want to thank you very much for turning up for this interview. You have intelligently, confidently managed this panel. We just want to promise you that you have struggled, and your struggle will earn you credit. You have, of course, competently answered our questions. So I want to thank you very much and hope that we will. I want to say that we'll give you what you deserve so that you can, as per the way you have really answered these questions, is what you will go and do in the field. Kusema na kutenda. I want to believe that. So members, thank you so much. Thank you for coming. Members of the public, thank you so much. Therefore, we want to bring session to an end. Thank you so much. Thank you. God bless you. Have a good day. Mr. Moses, thank you and welcome. Yes.